Today, we review the top 5 best guitar capo that you can choose the right one for your purpose. After spending 2 weeks of research and consumer survey, we compiled this list. If you want more information and updated pricing on the product mentioned, be sure to check the links in the description below. Oh yes, since you're a new channel, don't forget to subscribe to us, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification as it will help us grow. So let's get started with the video. Number 5. Fender X Kyser Quick Change Electric Guitar Capo. Kyser capos have always been incredibly popular for their lightweight and easy-to-use design, but Fender players in particular will enjoy the Kyser X Fender Quick Change Capo. This is another trigger-style model, and thanks to the oversized legs, grabbing it and moving it up and down the fretboard was incredibly easy. It's a spring-loaded unit, but rather than a linear spring, it uses a torsion spring. The issue with spring-loaded units like this is that they don't apply the same amount of tension on every size of neck. We found it to be great with the Strat, but on the Martin and the Les Paul it pulled the strings sharp. We had a surf green version, and it perfectly matched the surf green finish on the Strat. While it doesn't affect performance in the slightest, we thought it was a cool touch. It's also available in shell pink, Olympic white, Daphne blue, butterscotch blonde, and black. The foam on the fretboard side was amongst the softest of all the models we tested. While there wasn't a vast amount of tone loss, it was still noticeable when compared back-to-back with the G7TH Capo.
Here are some pros and cons that I found to be interesting for you. It can help you choose the right product on your importance.
Number 4. D'Addario Guitar Capo. The D'Addario NS Artist Capo comes from a brand with a long-standing heritage of making excellent guitar accessories, and this capo absolutely lives up to the legacy. It is a trigger-style capo that we found as easy to get set up as any other model in this style. All we needed to do was squeeze the legs together and place it over the neck. As briefly mentioned, it did feature adjustable tension, which is a great concept. Rather than just relying on one-size-fits-all spring tension, we were able to create relief by making it slacker, preventing tuning issues, or make it tighter to reduce fret buzz. We were pleased with the results, as when it was set up properly, we found that the guitars stayed in tune, and there was zero fret buzz. One issue we found with the adjustable tension was that it still needed to be adjusted if we moved it to different neck positions. For example, when we had it set up perfectly for the 2nd fret, due to the change in taper of the guitar's neck as we went further up the fretboard, this was particularly obvious on the Strat with its asymmetrical neck, and on the Martin.
Here are some pros and cons that I found to be interesting for you. It can help you choose the right product on your importance.
Number 3. Ernie Ball Axis Dual Radius Capo. After spending some time with the Ernie Ball Axis, we found ourselves truly impressed, despite the fact that it was the cheapest model on test by quite some margin. After unboxing, we set about finding out how easy this capo was so set up and adjust. Being a simple spring action capo, it was simply a case of squeezing the 2 legs together against the tension of the spring, placing it over the neck, and letting it go. Once it was on the neck, we were easily able to adjust it with one hand by giving it a gentle squeeze and sliding it up or down. The overall design was super slick. There were no sharp angles or corners, and the matte silver finish looked premium. There was very little lateral play, or wobble, between the 2 parts of the arm, which bodes well for the longevity of this capo. One of the neatest things about the design of this particular capo is that it works with stringed instruments of pretty much all sizes, from ukuleles to 7-string guitars. We had no issues getting it on any of the 3 guitars we used for the test.
Here are some pros and cons that I found to be interesting for you. It can help you choose the right product on your importance.
Number 2. Page 6-string Standard Guitar Capo. The Page 6-string Standard Guitar Capo was a big hit during testing. It performed well, and we were impressed with the overall quality. Our first test was to establish how easy it was to get set up. To mount it, we first had to unlatch the bar, and then we were able to fit it around the neck before resecuring the latch. It may not seem as convenient as a spring-loaded type, but we found it to be incredibly secure once on, and that in and of itself is a standout feature. We found that the knurled grip on the tension adjustment screw was sturdy and easy to manipulate, even with sweaty hands. As advertised, it was capable of one-handed adjustment, which is an absolute must, especially for gigging musicians. The yoke design offered even application of tension across the strings. We didn't experience noticeable fret buzz when playing, and nor did we find that tuning issues were unmanageable.
Here are some pros and cons that I found to be interesting for you. It can help you choose the right product on your importance.
Number 1. G7TH Performance 3 Capo with Art. The G7TH Performance 3 steel string capo is at the pinnacle of capo technology. Loss of tuning stability is one of the biggest issues that plagues standard capos, but this high-tech model seems to have solved that problem. The mechanism doesn't rely on a spring or a screw-down clamp. Instead, all we needed to do was place it into position and squeeze it. To adjust, we pressed the release button, and it loosened enough to move to whichever position we needed it to be in. With this capo, the real attraction was the adaptive radius technology, or ART for short. Within the body of the capo is a series of cams that adjust to the radius of the fretboard it is placed on in real time, with no manual adjustment necessary. The result was absolutely staggering. With a good capo, you shouldn't really notice any loss of tuning, but it can happen. With this G7TH capo, tuning was genuinely perfect every time we clamped it down.
Here are some pros and cons that I found to be interesting for you. It can help you choose the right product on your importance.
Thanks for watching this video. Hope you found your desired product.